Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing good. I am sitting in a Pets Plus parking lot, and I went where all the light is because it's nighttime, or almost nighttime, and I don't usually do videos at night, but just thought I would say hi because I have a little time on my hands, and I brought some notes with me. Sorry I didn't upload anything this weekend, but just the weekend got away. It was Chris's birthday. That was nice. We had 2 birthday events, and that's making every day count, right? So I wanted to talk to you though because Mercury went into retrograde yesterday on November 9th. I probably won't get this up until tomorrow on the 11th, but nevertheless, it's going to be with us for a while, so no worries. So I thought, in case you don't know what it is, I'll go over that real quick, and then I'll let you know how this one might affect you. So it occurs when Mercury is a planet that, from our vantage point on Earth, seems to go backwards like 3 to 4 times a year, and it lasts for a few weeks. And I don't know how they ever discovered that it had to do with, the havoc that gets wreaked, for lack of a better word. I used to be like, if Mercury's in retrograde, I hope nobody tells me. So if you're that person, I am sorry. But I did want to go over it briefly. It doesn't actually go backwards. It just seems like it does from our perspective. And I'm not really sure what the dynamics are. This isn't a science channel. So I jotted down some notes about what Mercury in retrograde actually affects. And that would be communication challenges. Everybody kind of already knows that. It's you don't want to sign contracts, and you don't want to, there are misunderstandings for sure. And so I would just recommend everybody be very clear with their communications when this actually happens, okay? And technology issues for sure. So, and I'm not saying we can't afford, in this economy, to have your laptop go out or your phone or something. So just go easy on your stuff. That's what I'm going to say. And because the devices malfunction and experience glitches. So a lot of times, and I kind of wonder what the stats are. A lot of times when things go haywire, I wonder what the stats are for repair shops or sales for electronics. I probably wouldn't even buy anything serious, like appliances or anything. And if you do, or you have to, then get a warranty. Travel delays. Well, we have been experiencing through the government shutdown, there's no doubt that we have had our share of travel. Like, you look at the airports, and and I assume that everything is going to normalize again. For as normal as it ever was, right? And then the contract caution. Well, there you go. It's advised to avoid signing important agreements during this time. I forgot that one. Forgot that I already said it. So some people also believe that Mercury, as it goes from stationary to this little, they call it a shadow, which means it doesn't, from our perspective, go in the reverse direction full speed, but there is this shadow period, and it is maybe the week before and the week after it's stationary. And people say that is actually the worst time, not actually when Mercury is in full retrograde. I haven't really experienced that, but I just wanted you to be aware that even though it went in retrograde on the 9th, you may have been feeling the effects the week before, and you may feel the effects the week after. And by the way, you should know that it goes direct again on November 29th. So basically the rest of this month, you just want to watch those things. Now, what you also need to keep in mind is that not everyone feels every single retrograde. It doesn't affect all of the signs. I mean, it will affect all the signs. Don't get me wrong. Let me just get this because the glare I'm looking at in the viewfinder is pissing me off. So it will affect us, but not to the same degree. So there have been retrogrades where I just barely felt it, maybe one or two snafus, but no big deal. I mean, snafus always happen anyway, but it specifically affects 4 of the 12 zodiac signs more than others. Each retrograde is a little different. So let me tell you who's going to be affected the most for the rest of this month. All right. So I'm going to have to put these back on because I can't see without them. Don't get old, kids. All right. Let me get down this. It's all right. Okay. So I got this from the New York Times because I don't do astrology, although I did dabble in it in my 20s. I thought maybe I would be a full-time astrologer kind of thing, but it turned out to be just not my thing, even though I had software. And I mean, even though you think that like software just does it all, it does the math and it'll spit out reports. But a good astrologer will compare what they feel or what they see with those reports. So sometimes it's a blend. Like, yeah, I can agree on some report on certain things, but not on other things. And there are factors maybe that aren't taken into account. So I'm not poo-pooing astrologers. I would just say, find someone, maybe get a recommendation. I would say Eric Pride is good, and that is yourpersonalastrologer.com. So from the New York Times, the 4 signs hit hardest by astrologer Retta Weigel. Sagittarius, you're the first on the list. The first half of Mercury's retrograde will hit their first house of identity and self-expression, while the latter half highlights their 12th house of endings and the subconscious mind. In the first 2 weeks of this retrograde, the pace of life may be slow. This is natural, as retrograde affects your personality, external image, and internal state. The focus will be on self-presentation, behavior, and how you perceive yourself. It's an opportune time to complete postponed personal tasks and rethink your style. So really, it's going to affect you, but maybe not in such a bad way. The second half is more about subterranean and soulful than the surface. You might uncover old secrets or revisit the past emotional situations. So this seems like for you, Sag, it's internal. It's a self-reflection and that kind of thing. And maybe it's going to well up a lot of emotions, but it doesn't sound like technology, and the common things are going to be your issue. So listening to your inner self and restoring balance, spend more time alone. You will need to spend more time alone. Calming practices like meditation, breathing exercises, and journaling will be beneficial. So if you're someone that actually suffers a little from depression or anything, I would keep in check with that, okay? Now, the second one is Scorpio, which is the sign we're in right now. And the first half of this retrograde hits their second house of values and resources, and then moves on to their first house of identity. Your focus will be financial matters, resources, and self-worth. You may revisit old sources of income or collaborate with former partners, tapping into talents that could yield a profit. So yeah, Mercury's not all bad. I mean, it also sounds kind of an internal thing for you, but it seems like it's going to help you set goals. I still wouldn't sign any contracts though, or anything like that. It's wise to avoid hasty financial decisions. Instead, complete what you've started and strengthen existing ventures. So really, it could propel you forward in things you're doing, but don't start anything new unless it's just on paper or just, you're writing things down or you have ideas that you want to revisit maybe next month. When Mercury moves into Scorpio, sensitivity to others' assessments and reactions increase. This is not a time for drastic changes, but rather a self-reflection. Okay, Gemini, listen up. This retrograde throws a revisionist spotlight on your relationships and your daily rituals. During the first half of November, Mercury retrograde brings essential changes to personal relationships, partnerships, works, habits, and health. Issues related to relationships and partnerships may resurface, particularly with potential contact with ex-partners or clients, the renewal of agreements, or the need to review previous ones. Okay, so this is again more like a mental retrograde. A lot of thinking and stuff. There wasn't even like a lot about technology, although, it's going to happen, but it just always does. But according to the astrologer, this retrograde is a bit of a purge party and an ideal time to resolve old conflicts and cleanse yourself of toxic relationships. Clean house. That's not a bad thing to do every once in a while, right? Now, me. Taurus. Radical life changes and significant transformations may occur, particularly in the areas of relationships and finances. Great. The astrologer notes that issues related to shared resources, debts, and responsibility may surface. Ooh. That would be like a joint bank account with my husband? I don't know. I just know that we put money in and the bills get paid. It's advisable to refrain from taking on new financial obligations. Instead, focus on meeting existing ones and releasing past patterns, both emotional and material. In relationships, there's a potential to reconnect with former partners or clients. That seems to be a theme. This period is favorable for resolving past conflicts, clarifying boundaries, and restoring valuable connections. Well, that's not bad. I mean, like I said, maybe this is not going to be super hard on the technology, but it does sound like hold on to your finances. Of course, this has been a crappy economy anyway, and we're going into Christmas next month. So watch your pennies. Don't hesitate to resolve issues with relationships. And if you cannot resolve them, then it sounds like it's a good time to say goodbye. So in that regard, at least Mercury is in your favor. Okay. So maybe next time I'll do another one and we'll see who else is affected. But, we're all affected, but it won't be so bad for you all. It's going to suck for me. Maybe I'll update you in the comments when this is over and let you know how I fared. All right. It really is getting dark now. So I'm going to get going. Great to talk to you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.